sirens wailing, headlines screaming. Have you noticed how our world seems perched on the edge? What if everything you thought you knew about the end times was only half the story? Hey, welcome to Signs and Wonders, Unraveling Bible Prophecy. I'm your host, and today we're plunging into what the Bible really says about Armageddon, the end of the world, and what it means for us. You've heard the word Armageddon tossed around in movies and news, but did you know it shows up just once in the entire Bible? And yet, this single mention has sparked centuries of speculation, fueled both apocalyptic fiction and fiery sermons. We'll explore seismic prophecy. Think of prophecy like a tectonic plate, slow but world-shifting and symbolic language that acts like a spiritual GPS, guiding us through chaos. Our journey, the chaos of the last days, the grand showdown, and the ultimate hope that follows. So, buckle up. Is Armageddon a literal battlefield or a cosmic crossroads? Today we'll break it all down. Picture this: earthquakes, wildfires, riots, and rising seas. Sound like your nightly news. Now, imagine what it's like when the foundations of society tremble. Have you ever wondered if there's a deeper meaning behind the turmoil? Let me tell you a story. Not so long ago, entire towns were forced to relocate because of floods. Winds stronger than ever recorded swept coastlines, and authorities struggled to keep order as violence flared. Does that sound familiar, or just sensationalism? In biblical terms, these are birth pangs like contractions before new life, only this time the whole planet is involved. Think of martial laws and emergency brakes slammed on a runaway train. But does that mean the train's final stop is near? You might be asking, are these natural disasters and social breakdowns random or part of a bigger prophetic picture? Today we'll look at why so many people sense something ominous on the horizon. Let's dig deeper into what the Bible calls the beginning of sorrows and what might come next. Armageddon. The word alone can send chills down your spine. But what if I told you it's only mentioned once in the entire Bible? You might say, wait, all this fuss over a single verse? Absolutely. Here's why. Armageddon is a combination of two Hebrew words. Har means mountain, and Megiddo refers to an ancient battlefield famous for turning points in Israel's story. Prophecy scholars call this a transliteration, like borrowing a word from another language without translating it, much like we use the word tsunami today. And the Valley of Megiddo is a symbol-laden location where epic showdowns happen, like Elijah facing down the prophets of Baal. But is Armageddon just about geography, or is it pointing to a greater spiritual conflict? Imagine if the final showdown happens in your own heart, not just on a map. How would that change the way you see prophecy? Stick with me as we uncover whether Armageddon is a literal war zone or a metaphor for the ultimate clash between good and evil. Have you noticed how fast our world is changing? For thousands of years, humanity moved at a horse's pace then. Suddenly, we're breaking the sound barrier and curing diseases with AI algorithms. The Bible predicted an increase in knowledge. And wow, have we seen it. Think of the digital revolution like a floodgate once it's open. Information surges everywhere, reshaping lives overnight. But there's another side. Knowledge of ancient prophecies is exploding too. The sealed book of Daniel, it's like a mystery novel that suddenly everyone's reading and decoding. You might wonder, is this knowledge boom coincidence or destiny? The exponential growth we see, like Moore's law for microchips, mirrors the prophetic forecast. So, as we ride this tidal wave of innovation, let's ask, does this point to the countdown clock running out 2 world wars, nuclear arms races, biological threats. Doesn't it feel like violence has gone global? Imagine this. Once armies fought with swords and bows. Today, one press of a button can unleash devastation across continents. That's escalation when conflicts jump levels overnight, like a fist fight turning into a missile launch. The Bible calls these rumors of wars, but now they're breaking news. What if a single decision could threaten all of humanity? That's the power of modern deterrence, the uneasy peace that comes from everyone knowing what's at stake. You might be asking, are we already living on the razor's edge the prophets warned about? The evidence from mushroom clouds to cyber warfare suggests these ancient warnings are more relevant than ever. Let's consider, are these simply cycles of history, or do they point toward the world's final countdown? Earthquakes that flatten cities, wildfires that darken skies, hurricanes that rewrite coastlines. Sometimes it feels as if nature itself is raging. In prophecy, these are called great signs, like warning lights blinking on a dashboard. Think of tectonic unrest as the planet's version of a stress headache and climate instability as a fever with no easy cure. You might be thinking, isn't this just weather? Let me tell you, the frequency and intensity of these disasters are stacking up like dominoes, just as ancient texts predicted. If you've ever wondered whether nature's turmoil is a cosmic message with your name on it, you're not alone. Prophecy describes a crescendo and increasing roar from the natural world until the final act. Could these groans of creation be the world's final alarm clock warning us to wake up before it's too late? Let's be real. Turn on the news. Scroll your feed. Violence, greed, scandal. It's everywhere. But is this just bad luck, or is there something deeper at play? The prophets called it a moral freefall, as if society's safety net had been cut away. The rise in things like narcissism, that self-obsessed mindset, and moral relativism, the belief that truth is whatever you want it to be, are eroding the foundations of trust. You might think every generation says the world is getting worse. True, but history shows when corruption hits critical mass, collapse is never far behind. Remember Noah's flood, Sodom's fire? Those stories are more than cautionary tales. If we're honest, we see echoes of ancient times in our own. The question is, will we repeat history or learn from it? Before we write off these warnings, let's ask what choices we're making and how they shape our destiny. Spirits, seances, and supernatural claims. Why are so many people drawn to the occult today? Prophecy warns that spiritualism, the belief in communicating with the dead, will surge before the end. It's like opening a door you can't close, inviting in more than you bargained for. Shows and movies glamorize witchcraft. Even churches sometimes blur lines, embracing syncretism, mixing beliefs like a spiritual smoothie, hoping for something tastier. You might say it's just entertainment, but history teaches that what we normalize on screen often finds a home in real life. The Bible calls these doctrines of demons dangerous ideas dressed up as enlightenment. Ask yourself, are we losing our ability to tell truth from illusion? And what's the real cost of playing with spiritual fire? In the midst of chaos, there's an unexpected headline. The message of hope is reaching every corner of the globe like never before. Jesus predicted the gospel would be preached in all the world before the end. Think of it like a global broadcast satellite, smartphone, social media, all beaming out the same invitation. You might wonder, is it really possible to reach everyone? With modern communication networks, digital highways for ideas, the answer is increasingly yes. I've met people in remote villages who've heard the good news through a radio or a shared phone. Each story is a ripple in the ocean of prophecy fulfilled. So, is this explosion of spiritual knowledge a sign we're closer than ever to the world's finale? Imagine waking up to headlines. New laws dictate how you worship. At first, they promise peace and unity. But what if following your conscience suddenly makes you an outlaw? The Bible warns of a time when the mark of the beast becomes the litmus test. Think of it as a spiritual passport, but one with eternal consequences. You might be skeptical. Would the world really unite on religion? Historically, when chaos reigns, people crave order and leaders seize the moment to set new rules. These prophetic edicts are like dominoes. Once they fall, change comes fast. What's at stake? The freedom to think, believe, and worship in truth. The big question. When the world polarizes, which side will you be on, and how do you know you're standing on solid ground? What if the world's most dazzling miracle worker wasn't who they claimed to be? Imagine news reports of a radiant being healing the sick, raising the dead, saying all the right words, and everyone believes he's the long-awaited Savior. Prophecy speaks of false Christs and lying wonders. Think of this as a magician's illusion, writ large, a sleight of hand so convincing even the sharpest eyes risk being fooled. You might say, I'd never fall for that. But if every TV, every feed, every headline proclaimed it, would you doubt your own senses? That's the power of mass persuasion when belief becomes contagious. The Bible warns that Satan himself can appear as an angel of light. If deception could unite the world, what chance do you have to see through it? Let's unpack the safeguards against counterfeit spirituality and why discernment has never been more crucial. Sooner or later, everyone faces a choice that defines their destiny. Prophecy paints a picture of two groups, those who receive the seal of God and those marked by the beast. Think of the seal as a spiritual signature, like a watermark on a rare painting, authenticating the owner. The mark, by contrast, is a counterfeit, a badge of misplaced loyalty. You might be asking, is this literal or symbolic? The answer, both. It's about deeper allegiance. Will we follow truth at any cost or trade it for convenience and safety? As society fractures, the pressure to conform intensifies. But history's heroes, Daniel in the lion's den, Esther in the king's court, stood firm, leaving us a template. In the coming storm, which mark will you bear, and how do you prepare for that moment of truth? Imagine the world reeling from disasters. Rivers turn to blood, darkness falls, scorching heat sears the land. It sounds like blockbuster fiction, but these are the 7 last plagues of prophecy. For God's faithful. It's a time of soul-searching and risk. Some hide in wilderness, others are thrown in prison. It's tribulation, a pressure cooker that reveals true character. You might ask, if God loves his people, why let them suffer? Here's the twist. Just as ancient Israel was protected in Egypt, so too the faithful find supernatural shelter amidst crisis. At the world's darkest hour, a midnight cry rings out. Behold, the bridegroom is coming. The rescue is sudden, breathtaking, and unstoppable. If you've ever wondered whether hope survives catastrophe, this segment shows why the answer is a resounding yes. Picture a world emptied of people, only ruins and silence, with Satan and his demons alone to ponder their fate. This is the millennium, a 1,000-year pause in the cosmic drama. Meanwhile, the redeemed enjoy a cosmic reunion in heaven, finally seeing old friends, getting answers to life's hardest questions. Think of it as transparent judgment, a divine audit where everything is laid bare. You might wonder, why does this judgment take so long? Fairness, every question is answered, every motive understood. like peeling back the layers of a mystery until the story makes sense to all. During this time, God's people act as judges reviewing cases, confirming God's justice. It's participatory, not passive, a process that builds unbreakable trust. As we approach the renewal of the earth, the stakes shift from judgment to restoration. What does it mean to inherit a world made new? The stage is set for the ultimate confrontation. Satan rallies the lost for one final assault on the city of God. Think of it as the last desperate blitz in a cosmic chess match. But as the armies assemble, the heavens split open. The great white throne appears, God's justice like a spotlight on the world's darkest secrets. You might be thinking, is there any hope left for the defeated? Tragically, the final choice has already been made. But even now, God's fairness and mercy are on full display. Every soul understands their fate. Suddenly, fire descends, purifying the earth, ending evil forever. It's not vengeance, but cleansing. Think of a forest fire making way for new growth. And with evil gone, a new heaven and earth emerge. What will it be like to live in a world where sorrow and death are only distant memories? Imagine a world where every tear is wiped away, where pain and death are erased for good. That's the new creation, not a distant dream, but a promised reality. The cosmic scars are healed and paradise is restored. Think of immortality as life with no expiration date, and restoration as a masterpiece restored to greater glory than ever before. You might ask, is forever just a fairy tale? Every longing for justice and belonging points to something real. A place where love is the law, curiosity endless, and adventure never ends. The redeemed explore the universe, reunite with loved ones, and share a closeness with their Creator beyond words. So, if you've ever wondered what lies beyond Armageddon, the answer is hope eternal, unbreakable, and offered to you. So what are the real takeaways from Armageddon and prophecy's final act? First, the signs are everywhere. Global chaos, spiritual deception, and a surge of hope racing across the world. Second, the ultimate battle isn't just armies, it's about truth versus illusion. Third, the promise of a new world is as real as tomorrow's sunrise. Now, you might be thinking, what can I do? The answer is clear. Choose today whom you'll serve. Start by searching the scriptures for yourself. Think of it as calibrating your spiritual compass. And keep your eyes open for hope in unexpected places. Next week, we'll explore the mysteries of the millennium, what happens after the end, and why your choices now echo forever. Will there be surprises? Count on it. If today's episode stirred something in you, I encourage you to reach out, reflect, and share this message. Subscribe, review, and let's keep this conversation going. Remember, the end isn't just a conclusion, it's an invitation. Until next time, stay curious and keep watching the signs.